Well, these are pictures live from Egypt's parliament. The session's been underway for approximately half an hour now. Some stormy exchanges going on from what we can understand. Let's get an in-depth look at what's happening with Rawya Rageh, our correspondent in Cairo. Rawya, what can you tell us about what's been happening so far?
Well, as you've mentioned, Taimur, for the past 30 minutes, this very important session has been underway. It started by a very strong speech by the Parliament Speaker, Mohammed Saad Al-Katatni. Now, he had very strong words to the security forces and those in charge of security in the country. He described what happened on Wednesday as a massacre and as a clear indication of basically clear negligence, he described, in the performance of security forces and dereliction of duty. He said that security forces clearly ignored all the signs preceding and during the game and failed to intervene in the right time, and that basically this was not an isolated incident. Of course, it's part of a series of security breaches in the country in the past week. Now, soon after he ended his speech, this of course is a session attended by the Prime Minister, several Football Association officials and other officials in the country. This is being broadcast live on state television. Soon after he ended that speech, he asked that the live broadcast of the session ends and that it will be broadcast later, recorded to the public. Immediately you could see the reaction in the parliament, the angry reaction by many parliamentarians. Now remember, Mohammed Saad Al-Katatni is a key figure in the Muslim Brotherhood movement, whose political arm, the Freedom and Justice Party, has the largest number of seats in parliament. So he was clearly banking on the support of his own members, of his own group, in voting or passing this motion. Surprisingly and interestingly, that did not happen, and the session is still being broadcast live as we speak, Taimur.
So all sorts of currents of domestic politics which are a bit hard to follow, Rawya. Why would he want to stop it being broadcast? And what was the general tone of the other commenters? Is everybody as critical in Parliament as he was?
Well, we didn't really get a chance to listen to the rest of the speeches, but you can get an idea of the extent of the pressure on the parliament to deliver. This is going to be a very important session. People are expecting parliament to deliver in basically delivering answers as to how and why security forces were absent. But remember, we've spoken to constitutional experts and they're telling us this parliament does not have the prerogative to ask for confidence to be withdrawn from this cabinet. So they don't really have that kind of power, but people are at least expecting them to ask for this government to be sacked, for at least the Ministry of Interior to be kicked out of its position, because until now, none of the security officers in this country have been openly at least held accountable for this violence, Taimur.